sponsored by Staples Appliance, located at 710 Montague Avenue in Greenville.
Hi everybody, it's Benetra the Boss Lady, and yes, welcome to another edition of ICM on TV. We're excited because this is a little different show today, and I hope that you all will truly enjoy it. But today's guest is none other than Mr. James Dent.
How y'all doing?
Yes, how are you doing today?
I'm doing good.
Good. I mean, I know you've been wide open and you're just getting back in, flying back in, and hey, but I'm glad that you're taking time out still.
Thank you for
to
having
get this interview in. But if you all have no clue to whom this gentleman is that is sitting beside me, I want you to introduce yourself to our ICM on TV viewers.
My name is James Dent. I'm your local head golf professional out here at Augusta Municipal Golf Course.
You're the head man.
Head man in charge.
Well, let me ask you something. What made you, out of all things, decide to get into golf?
Well, it was a family thing. You know, my dad, if you don't know, he's a PGA Tour, senior PGA Tour player, Dent. So from when I can remember, my first thoughts has been golf has been my whole life. Everything I know, everything we've done, everywhere we've gone has been about golf.
Wow, I mean, now I read up on your dad because that was an assignment that was given to the boss lady, and yes, I did. And the thing about it is, looking at the roots of what he grew up and playing golf, and the thing of just, I think he was near the Masters.
Yes, he grew up. Well, he was actually grew up on the side of Augusta Country Club.
The hill.
On the hill. Yep. So they would have to jump the fence, try and play as many holes as they could before the security guard came out there to run them off. And that's why he's got this stigma now where he's known as one of the fastest players out there. He don't take any time. He gets up to the ball, he just hits it. Yeah,
so he's pretty accurate. He knows, and he has studied. He studied other people.
That's
so
right.
You haven't grown up in that kind of environment, as far as your dad being an avid golfer, more than an avid. He's professional, and then you stepping into it. How many of you all are there, and how many are actually playing golf?
We've got, my oldest daughter right now, she's actually getting ready to take a scholarship to Prairie View.
What?
On a golf scholarship.
Go ahead, go ahead. What is her name?
Kennedy Dent.
Go ahead, Kennedy. Yes.
She's a real smart 4.0 student, and she's a good golfer. So we got her taken care of. Then I got two little brothers. They're twins. They play.
Okay.
They're aspiring to be pros. I got my youngest. She's at it. She's still in basketball right now.
Okay,
but
nothing
she's
wrong
coming.
with basketball.
She's coming.
I'm a basketball.
You're a basketball player.
I can't say nothing on that one. Go ahead later. But even with that being said, do you remember the first time that you picked up a golf club?
My mom has footage of me picking up a golf club in our garage. And I grew up in Florida. So in the garage, she actually got me picking up a club and swinging it around when I was about 2 years old. Yeah.
So it was natural then?
It was natural.
It was just natural to just pick it up and say, hey, I can do this.
Yep.
So how often do you go out and play now?
Right now I'm on the injured reserve list, but I usually try and go out with the guys maybe twice a week and play out there. And every now and then I'll play in a tournament.
Okay.
So.
All right, well let me ask you this. What is your most, I'll say, as far as memorable moments being on the golf course? It had to be something that at one point in time that you were at a particular hole and you was kind of skeptical or whatever.
It would probably be in between my first college win and winning caddying for my dad.
Okay.
It's in between those two because both of those were special moments.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, look, we're going to take a break right here. Of course, you're watching ICM on TV. I'm your host, Benetra the Boss Lady, and our today's guest is
James Dent.
We'll be right back after this minute.
Inspired Christians Magazines on TV is sponsored by
Zion Baptist Church. In honor of Black History Month, this Martin Luther King quote is being sponsored by Anointed Hands Driving Academy of Greenwood, South Carolina. We also service Abbeville, McCormick, Edgefield, Saluda, and Greenwood counties. Anointed Hands Driving Academy, we teach you to drive defensively. Anointed Hands Driving Academy, we're meeting all of your driver's needs, meeting the needs of student and adult drivers. Our hours of operations are 9 a.m. until 9 p.m. Monday through Saturday. Feel free to visit our website at www.anointedhandsdrivingacademy.com.
Your car is important. It has to be ready to go when you are. But sooner or later, your car is going to need major service. Going to a dealership can cost thousands, sometimes more than your car's worth. But you don't have to trade your car or overpay for repairs. ICM Auto Parts can replace your motor or transmission and get the car you have back on the road. No payments, no taxes, and no hefty insurance increase. Don't walk away from a good car. Let ICM Auto Parts keep you going.
Welcome back to ICM on TV. Of course, I'm your host, Benetra the Boss Lady, and we have today
James Dent.
Yes, now you all should know that name. That last name right there is very, very special. You are the son of 16, I'm going to say 16 wins.
Yeah, 12 on the championship.
12 on the championship?
Yeah, 4 unofficial on the PGA.
So 12 PGA championships and 4 unofficial.
Yep.
Okay, now, walking into your father's footsteps.
Big footsteps. Huge footsteps. All the time I was always looked on, you know, is he as good as his dad? Is he? So it was a lot of pressure.
For real?
It was a lot of pressure.
All right, so now you mentioned earlier that you played in college. What college did you attend?
Talladega College.
Okay.
In Talladega, Alabama.
Okay.
Yeah.
And now you a Florida man.
Florida
It ended
man.
up in Alabama?
Yeah. Well, see what happened was they used to have a national junior tournament in Cleveland, Ohio.
Okay.
So a lot of the historically black colleges, the coaches would be there. So it just happened that 7 of us from Tampa were up at that tournament. He took all 7 of us to college.
What?
Every one of us that grew up playing together at the same golf course. He took all of us to college. It was 8 of us up there at one time, all from Tampa.
See, that is like unheard of.
And we were one of the only historically black colleges that won with the all-minority team.
Really?
We were the only ones to win the national minority with an all-minority team.
So I'm quite sure you all had to run into some issues at some point in time where your people looking at you like, what? Having a black golfer at that, I got to say that because I know that your father experienced some things as he came along and grew up.
Oh, yeah.
And being able to just be able to step on the Masters other than being a caddy.
That's right. Yeah.
So
it's I mean, I can even say times where I've been older and we still run into certain types of racism out on the golf course. So it's still out there, but you know, with the relevance of Tiger Woods coming out, it made it a little easier. And now we've got a couple of guys, Cameron Champ.
Okay.
We got a young guy out of North Carolina. All these guys on the PGA Tour now. So it's we're making a comeback on the tour.
Okay.
You know, at one time we had maybe 8 or 9 black golfers back in the day, but now it's down to like 2 or 3. So, but we got a lot of young black golfers that are coming up there.
Well, you know, a lot of guys are very like playing golf and not knowing that. I feel like you got to be very, very strategic, and you got to be very well with your swing. And I've heard people now. Tell me about the swing at Adams and all that stuff. What is this about the different little golf clubs?
Well, when you have usually in a golf bag, a legal set is 14 clubs. So 90% of people have a driver, 3-wood, what we call a hybrid, which is like an iron and a driver mix. Then you'll have 7 to 8 irons. And you have sand wedges, putter, then your golf balls. So it's just a matter. This game is just a matter of practice and muscle memory. Because if you don't go out and practice, you're not gonna play good. You can have fun.
So you ain't never swung and ended up in the trees somewhere?
All the time. It happens. It happens once around. It happens to the best in the world once around.
Now I have a friend of mine, and I'm not gonna call his name. It's kind of crazy, but I can remember being down in Conway, South Carolina. I can say that much. And he called me and he said, Benetra, he said, now I'm not supposed to be on the phone, but I'm out here on the golf course. He said, now do I beat these guys or let them go? you know, let them go ahead and win. And I said, I thought the object of the game was to win.
That's the object of the game.
So, but it was just funny to hear him say, you know, these are some top-notch players, or at least in their category.
In their category, yeah.
But he was just wearing them out, you know.
Yeah, it had. I mean, he probably put in the time. They probably were beating him at one time, and he didn't like that, so he probably went out and practiced double what they were doing.
Right.
Now he's whooping on them all the time.
But it was just funny, and I kept saying, you know what, this is one sport that I say, but as women getting into it, it's only really picked up in recent years. It has.
It has picked up big time in recent years. The LPGA Tour has gotten a lot of young, exciting golfers out there, so the need for it and the want for it has become really great.
Okay. Well, I mean, I thought about getting in it, but Boss Lady is very competitive. I'm very competitive. But you know what? We're going to leave on that note right now. We'll be right back after this message.
Your car is important. It has to be ready to go when you are. But sooner or later, your car is going to need major service. Going to a dealership can cost thousands, sometimes more than your car's worth. But you don't have to trade your car or overpay for repairs. S&M Auto Parts can replace your motor or transmission and get the car you have back on the road. No payments, no taxes, and no hefty insurance increase. Don't walk away from a good car. Let S&M Auto Parts keep you going.
Friends in the furniture business. You can come visit us at our 2 locations in Greenwood and Abbeville, South Carolina.
Hello, this is Pastor Anthony Reed from the Santa Fe Community Church. This is just a Black History moment for you. You know, Dr. Martin Luther King said that darkness only brings darkness, and the only way to overcome it is by light. And then he said, hate only brings hate. The only way to overcome it is love. So I just thank Dr. Martin Luther King for those sayings, because I understand that if I want to be somebody, I got to come out of the darkness into the marvelous light. And most of all, if I don't tell you anything, if you learn the truth, love over hate, you'll overcome anything in your life. This has been a Black History Moment coming from Pastor Anthony Reed of Santa Fe Community Church. Thank you, guys.
Welcome back to ICMonTV. I'm your host, Benetra the Boss Lady, and our today's guest is
James Dent.
Mr. Dent. I have to ask you this, and I know you say they call you JJ around here.
Yep.
Okay. What would you say to anybody that's young and black, say that, that's wanting or thinking about getting into golf? Because they're watching it, they're like, oh, you know what, I might can do that or whatever.
The first step is just coming out to the golf course, whether it be here or any golf course close to them. It's just a matter of coming out to the golf course, getting a lesson first. Don't just try and go out there and hit balls, because that's where you'll make all your bad habits. And it's hard to break bad habits. So what I would say is, if you're interested, come out to the golf course, talk to the local pro, talk to the local teacher pro, get a lesson. One lesson will tell you if you know, I really like this, or I don't think I can do this.
Okay.
Yeah, you definitely start off with a lesson. That's the first way to go.
Okay, so if Boss Lady want to get out there and play,
come on,
go get the lesson.
I got you.
She's got to get the lesson.
She's got to get the lesson.
Because I'm just so sure, because I've done a little putt-putt stuff, and that's not the same.
Not the same. It's totally.
So anybody that goes to the putt-putt golf course and think, oh, I can beat up, you know what, I'm going to the golf course next.
Not the same. It's
not
definitely
the same.
not the same.
Okay. All right, that's what's up. Now, far as encouraging, far as the being in golf, you've seen your ups and you've seen your downs. What would you want our ICMonTV viewers to know about you as the pro golfer?
The pro golfer out here, I'm just I'm laid back. I love the game of golf. I love teaching golf. I love seeing people come to the game and learn it and use it for the rest of their life. I mean, I'm just the type of person that I want to see everybody succeed in this game.
Right.
I want to grow this game. I want it to be where it needs to be, not only worldwide, but in the African American community, any minority community. I just want to see us get out, play, and have fun.
Okay. All right. Well, so you heard that right here from Mr. James Dent himself. We're down here at the Augusta Municipal Golf Course.
That's right.
Better known as what?
The patch.
The patch.
The patch.
The patch. And it has this beautifulness that's here. You all need to definitely come down here and just explore. Just get a feel for the greens. I have to say it that way. And I'm just thankful that you took time out.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, and of course, you know I'm coming back for my golf.
Come on back. You got to come back
for my
for
golf
the
lessons now.
And we also, starting in March, we're going to have our free ladies clinic on Thursday at 5:30.
Say that again.
5:30 starting on Wednesday, starting at the end of March, we're going to have a free, Thursdays at 5:30, we're going to have a free ladies clinic every Thursday.
Okay.
So all y'all ladies come out. We got clubs if you don't have any. And we're
so it could be actually like, now a lot of the ladies like to get together.
It could be a group, yeah.
Yeah.
Everybody is free golf lessons. Just come out. You stay as long as you want. You stay 5 minutes, 10 minutes. It's up to you. It's just, we'll just be out there teaching for a good hour and a half.
Okay. All right. Well, that sounds like something that you all ladies that are out there, if you're interested or you kind of, how you say, just want to know a little bit more about golf. Even just to find out because your husband plays and you're not sure. But hey, you can take time out to come down here to the Augusta Municipal Golf Course, better known as the Patch. Give the address.
It's 2023 Highland Avenue in Augusta, Georgia.
All right. And a phone number that they can reach you for?
You can actually call. You can actually look it up on our website. We like the people to visit our website. So go look it up on our website. It's AugustaGolfCourse.com. We have a lot of specials. Everything that we got going on is going to be on there. And just give us a call. Yeah, you can also, I think you can find y'all on Facebook too. I think we're on Facebook too. Yeah,
yes.
We have a Facebook page.
Yes, all right. I thank you all for just tuning in to ICM on TV. Of course, again, I'm your host, Benetra the Boss Lady. And here is
James Dent.
Right here on ICM on TV. Bye.
See y'all later.
Black History Moment is sponsored by Steeples Appliance, located at 710 Montague Avenue in Greenwood.
Hello, I'm Pastor Danny R. Webb of the Old Mount Zion Baptist Church, located in the Edworth community, 96 South Carolina in Greenwood County. Let me encourage you today as we look at a familiar passage of Scripture that has been recorded in the book of John. John's Gospel, chapter 6, beginning at verse 1, a very familiar passage of Scripture here, reads, the King James Version renders, "After these things Jesus went over to the Sea of Galilee, which is the Sea of Tiberias. And a great multitude followed him because they saw his miracles, which he did on them that were diseased. And Jesus went up into a mountain, and there he sat with his disciples, and the Passover, a feast of the Jews, were nigh. When Jesus then lifted up his eyes, and saw a great company come unto him, he said unto Philip, Which shall we buy bread that these may eat? And he said, to prove him, for he knew himself what he would do. Philip said unto him, 200 pennyworth of bread is not sufficient enough, that everyone may take a little. One of his disciples, Andrew, Simon Peter's brother, said, There's a lad here which have 5 barley loaves and 2 small fishes, but what are they among so many? I like to preach for just a few minutes from the topic, I'm in position. Perhaps there are some of you today who feel that your contribution to God is small. But can I tell you, as John reminds us through his word, when Jesus and his disciples crossed over the Sea of Galilee to the Sea of Tiberias, Jesus went with them to gain some rest. As Jesus is sitting there preparing to rest, he looked out on the grassy knoll and saw a multitude coming towards him. Now, can I tell you that the crowd was coming to Jesus because they knew that Jesus was going to meet their needs both physically and spiritually. Jesus is there with his disciples, and he began to have a dialogue with his disciples. He asked them, how are we going to feed these people? Philip, the treasury of the disciples of Jesus, began to look at the resources. He tells Jesus that 200 pennyworth would not be sufficient for the crowd to take a bite. But can I tell you, my brothers and sisters, let me encourage you today. Rather than looking at your situation, rather than looking at your resources, can I encourage you to look to Jesus? It is Jesus Christ that makes the difference in our life. It is Jesus Christ that makes the difference in our situation. It is Jesus Christ that meets all of our needs, both physically and spiritually. Let's pause here for a moment, if we may, and let's look at this reply, amen, that Philip said. Philip said 200 pennyworth would not be sufficient for them to take, all of them to have just a little. But I thank God that there was someone else there. There was a witness there. There was a witness by the name of Andrew, Simon Peter's brother. Simon Peter's brother, he speaks up and he tells Jesus that there's a lad there. If I may put it in the modern vernacular today, he said there's a boy there that has 5 barley loaves of bread and 2 fish. Can I tell you, my brothers and sisters, that when you look at 5 barley loaves of bread and you look at 2 fish, it wasn't much. They asked the question, the disciples asked Jesus, but what are they among so many? Jesus was putting his disciples to the test, just as you and I are tried and tested in our daily walks with him. But can I tell you that Jesus used our trials, our tests, and our tribulations to excel us to the place where he needs us to be, and we need to be a witness for him. Can I tell you about this boy that was in position? My brothers and sisters, Andrew, Simon Peter's brother, said that there's a lad here, and now we don't know exactly who the lad was. The Bible and the great theologians does not tell us who he was. It does not mention where he went to school. It does not tell us what community he was from. It does not tell us what his bank account was. It does not give us his educational status. In fact, it does not tell us how he's dressed. But what I can tell you, my brothers and sisters, that when the Lord needed somebody, this boy was in position. Can I encourage you today, my brothers and sisters, to always position yourselves for the Lord's service? Because when you position yourself for the Lord's service, the Lord will use you to make a contribution and to meet the needs of the community. This boy was there. This boy perhaps felt insignificant. He didn't feel important. When he left home that day, I doubted that this young man knew that Jesus was ever going to call attention to him. And that's the way it is with us, my brothers and sisters, in our daily walk with Jesus. Sometimes we think that God has forsaken us, that he is not paying attention to our situation. But can I tell you, my brothers and sisters, if you learn how to position yourself, that sooner or later God is going to take notice. God is going to move on your situation. God is going to bless you because you simply placed yourself in a position of service. Now, may I tell you, my brothers and sisters, not only was this young man in position, this young man brought something to the experience. When he left home that day, little did he know that his bag lunch, consisting of only 5 barley loaves of bread and 2 sardine-sized fish. It wasn't much. It wasn't much, my brothers and sisters, but can I tell you that the 5 barley loaves, it wasn't fine bread. It was unleavened bread that amounted to nothing more than our saltine crackers. It wasn't bunny bread. It wasn't Wonder bread. It wasn't Marita bread. It wasn't even Walmart bread. But what I can tell you, my brothers and sisters, is that what he had was going to make a difference in a whole lot of people's lives. And can I tell you that you may feel that your witness and your testimony is little, but if you learn to position yourself and bring something, amen, to the experience, I can tell you that God is going to multiply what you have in order to meet the needs of the community. Now, not only was this young man in position, this boy was in position, he brought something to the experience, but the other thing that I love about this boy is John tells us that he was willing to share what he had. When Jesus needed somebody, he was in position. When Jesus needed some resources, he brought the resources with him. But the thing that's amazing about this boy, he needed his lunch for himself, but he was willing to share what he had in order that everyone else may eat. And you know the rest of the story. He gives what he has unto Jesus. Jesus blesses it, instructs his disciples to sit the people down in companies of 50. The Bible says that he fed 5,000, excluding the women and the children on that grassy knoll that day. Can I encourage you, my brothers and sisters, be in position for the Lord's service? Can I encourage you today to bring something to church with you? Bring something to the experience. When any time that we enter into the Lord's presence, we need to bring something. And what do we need to bring? We need to bring a spirit of expectancy. We need to expect that God is going to move on our situation. We need to believe within our hearts that God is going to meet our needs. And finally, my brothers and sisters, as I begin to conclude, let me encourage you, not only was this boy in position, not only did he bring something to the experience, not only was he willing to share what he had, but this boy lost his identity. We don't know who the boy was, but what we do know is that when the Lord needed somebody, he was in position. When the Lord needed a servant, he brought something to the experience. When the Lord needed somebody, he was willing to share what he had. We don't know who he was, but what we do know, that when the Lord needed somebody, he was there. May the Lord bless you real good. Old Mount Zion Baptist Church, we're located in the Epworth community. Feel free to visit us any Sunday. Our services start at 9:30 a.m. with our Sunday school, and our regular worship service begins at 10:45. May God continue to bless you as you go forth. Remember to position yourselves for the Lord's service. God bless.